Lord. Kilos over the floorboard. SD kin from Mordor. I'm putting my name in the scoreboard. Pull up and got on my sword drawn. SD kin from Warlord. Okay. Well, this has been a little while since I've recorded a podcast, a video, and an audio of me reading the Stuttering and Anxiety Self Cures book. I believe it's nearly been a month. Yesterday, I did make a podcast on the other podcast season, relearning how to live. So there, I've kind of outlined what I've been kind of doing in my life over the last, I guess, month. But yeah, it's cool. So I'm gonna just literally jump straight into this. So this is PDF page 157, and let me just scroll down to my notes. Okay, so last off, we were looking at number 2, which is use similar words. The less that you think about what you'll say, the more fluent you will be. Hesitating before speaking to think words is the fatal toxin. Okay, so I'm just going to have a quick look at this. Okay, so we're on number 3. Number 3 is skip or spell the word, which I don't really like using this one, but I'll write it down anyway. Yeah, so this is making names easy. Okay, number 1, skipping first letter and first syllable. 2 is use similar words. Just scroll up a little bit just to make sure. Yeah, you see. Okay, cool. So this is number 3. Okay, skip or spell the word, which is crutch. 3. This is so easy and it works in so many situations. I can't tell you how many times I have simply omitted a feared word, kept right on talking, and no one ever knew the difference. And this skipping provides an immediate rush of calm. Fluent speakers do it all the time by accident. I simply did and do it on purpose. It worked and still works. When you force and fight to get words out, you put yourself way, way backwards. And you make listeners very uncomfortable. I don't know if I really like hearing him say stuff like that, but he is true. This is one reason why some people who stutter hang out mainly with other people who stutter. Such group stuttering can compound the problem. If you want to beat stuttering, you can't afford to wrestle publicly with words, and you don't need to do it. That's why you have crutches that you can grab automatically and instantaneously without advanced planning. If you have a better way than my crutches, you aren't likely reading this book. But if you think you have a better way, for heaven's sake, email me and I'll share it with all my people who stutter mates. I support all methods that are legal and moral, and I give mine and my coaching away free. If the omitted word distorts your message, express the entire thought in a different way. Get creative, get loose, make your speech an adventure. It will make you and your speech more interesting in the bargain. I used to spell my name rather than block over it. People love to hear a spelled name. It makes it so clear and easier to remember. And most names can be spelt multiple ways, especially in different languages. Other times, after I spell it, I found that I could say it by jamming it into the last letter of the spelled name, Lee. When I was working with my people who stutter mates, Adam, a once shut down blocker from New York, he took it upon himself to start spelling any word that gave him trouble. After not being able to say one word to me for many Skypes, he began saying many words to me and then talking, and he spelled hard words and kept right on talking. This works very well for him. He is now communicating at a normal rate of speed this way, which makes him and his listeners happy. So I began sharing it with with other people who stutter. Listeners don't care how you communicate, they simply want you to communicate. This is especially true with severe stutterers who wrestle with most words. Spelling does not feed Satan's stuttering, it does not foster fluency. So I added skipping the word entirely and spelling to my skipping first letters, syllables, and synonym crutches. Stutter memories and fear meter falling, falling, falling. Fluency memory meter rising, rising, rising. Lee smiling, smiling, smiling. This dude's fucking lost the plot, mate. Right, okay. So skip or spell the word. Okay, cool. So no sort of prompts for that one. Inserting alternate words or sounds. My favorite first feared word crutch. This is crutch for. All of the ways to maneuver around feared words, this crutch 4 is my favorite. As you know, most stutterers can say any word without stuttering, provided that they don't have time to fear it. And once they get past the first feared word, many get on a roll and can talk stutter-free for a while, especially if it's not a high-pressure situation, such as a large group or a stranger, or a formal presentation, or the telephone. The latter being the number one bane of many people who stutter. As all people who stutter know, stutterers typically take a split second or two to think about a word before fear kicks in, and that delay leads to a stutter. People who stutter effectively tee up the ball for Satan to kick it. So, of course, we must find ways to stop delaying and just speak. Begin speaking very quickly. No plan, even rush to begin talking. Answer quickly. However, this is often impossible for the person who stutters to do. Methods must be found to jumpstart speech before Satan kicks in with stutter blocks. Inserting an alternate thought or sound as a preface is enabling so many people who stutter to get past many next feared words. To me, and to an increasing number of people who stutter, this is the most fail safe way to avoid first feared word issues. Over time, I discovered that I could avoid a first syllable problem by ways other than dropping a letter or syllable. I could simply insert a spontaneous, last minute, or alternative words or sounds without planning words to get me started, after which I rolled right over the feared word. It is important to insert urges, thoughts, ideas, not words, because urges, thoughts, ideas find their own words before the stutterer can fear them, while thinking words is the primary cause of stuttering. This is a fine distinction, but it is critical to stopping stuttering. I was dumbfounded to learn recently that a well-known speech therapy firm actually requires people who stutters to think their words before saying them. I know of nothing worse for a person who stutters to do. This will guarantee a perpetuation of stuttering for life. The person who stutters, whom I heard do this, sounded like a robot. So, do not think any words before speaking. Just start talking and allow your mind to grab an alternate thought and idea. You write that down. Your mind will find words. Write that down. I quite like that. Do not think any words before speaking. Just start talking and allow your mind to grab an alternative thought slash idea. Your mind will find words. And you can speak them before you have time to fear and stutter them. Combining this with word linkage is particularly effective, especially if you keep your comments short and insert 2 count pauses between your speech increments. Crutch 11. Speaking on urge without thinking may well be the salvation for hard shutdown blockers, aka silent blockers in section 5.15. The most severe person who stutters, who cannot say anything the second that they think about speaking. Once they can say a word or two, many of them can continue to finish the thought. Crutch 4. Inserting a word sound before feared word can save the day as well. Let me write that down. Inserting a word sound before first word. Say the day as well. Starting is the problem. For example, if one wants to say, "What time is it?" Start talking but don't say that initially. Oh, I was wondering what time it is. Or, well, do you have the time? Or say, could you tell me the time? The key is speaking without thinking any words. Let me write that down. Let me just change. Let me just move that down to another row. Example. If one wants to say, what time is it? Accidentally put print screen. If one wants to say, what time is it? Start talking, but don't say that initially. Oh, I was wondering what the time is. Or, well, do you have the time? Or say, could you tell me the time? Interesting. So we can say here that the key is speaking without thinking words. You can always say any unplanned words. Do it. Get used to it. Make it a habit. Urge equals talk. Just keep it short when under pressure. We can say any word in some circumstances. Therefore, we can learn to say any word in other circumstances. For now, we're going to trick the mind by skipping part of the word or by inserting a spontaneously different thought and just start talking. And most any thought will do. For this stopgap short-term crutch, Satan's stuttering is a one-trick pony. That is, he only focuses on one word at any given time. Conversely, you can change your thoughts faster than Satan can kick in a stutter. That's a fact. Many people who stopped stuttering prove it all day, every day. Inserting words or sounds is difficult to write, but can be demonstrated easily on Skype. For now, make a game of it. You can teach yourself how to do it. Remember our first goal. Fill your mind's memory bank with many times more fluency memories than stuttering memories. Each crutch gives you another option to avoid creating a new stutter memory. If you don't do this, you're not likely to stop stuttering. An alternate word or thought may be simply a preface, a parenthetical opening in front of feared words to give yourself the momentum to roll right over a feared word. And if it doesn't beat the fear, drop the first letter. I call these parenthetical insertions, last minute, substitute thoughts, or jump starting fluency openers. Here are a few examples. Insertions like these often beat my stuttering fear to the punch and or blew right through it. Let me just copy this. Do you know, oh, by the way, excuse me, can you tell me, say, do you know, incidentally, I was wondering. I did. Okay, let me just copy that because I think that's really good. Do you know? Oh, by the way, excuse me. Can you tell me? Say, do you? Ooh, say, do you know? Incidentally, I was wondering. I did this a lot with my name too. Oh, I'm glad you asked. Actually, I'm a Scot. Well, I've been called everything but the name's Lee, or it can just be one word. Well, so, and etc. Even easier, Crutch 4 urges you to insert sounds instead of words as a preface and hold the sound as you say the word. Okay, the sound as you say the word. You thus connect the word and the sound in one utterance. Utterance? Utterance. I'm Lee. Well, George is my name. Tom Smith. Mitch Jones. Mitch Jones. Okay, nice. I like that. I'm Lee. Well, George is my name. Tom Smith. Mitch Jones. Holding sounds and writing them into words is likely the easiest and safest crutch to beat first feared words. Let me copy that. I think that's great. We drill these in Skypes, and soon saying names becomes easy, to quote one person who stutters. The silent blocker tends to insert a hesitation after the sound and then block anyway. Okay. I'm George. Well, Lee is the name. I'm Lee. Tom Smith, Tom Smith, Tom Smith, Mitch Jones, Tom Smith, Tom Smith, Tom. Okay, it's not about attention. Let me copy that down because that's also interesting. The silent, the silent blocker tends to insert a hesitation after the sound and then block. If you practice and get good at inserting alternate words slash thoughts slash ideas and or sounds before feared words, you won't stutter on a first feared word again, not ever. A small legion of our people who stutter have done this already. Join them. Most important, you shouldn't practice or pre-plan the exact words for these parenthetical insertions, or you may stutter them. To beat fear, we need to surprise it, i.e., by surprising spontaneous, or by being spontaneous, we achieve spontaneity by speaking immediately. So, do not think words, think change words, and immediately start talking. The key is to immediately start talking. The exact words of any imposed preface are irrelevant. Let your ideas and emotions drive and select these words as you speak them. Once you're talking on a roll, you can say almost anything, especially if you keep your words close together, linked, and keep it short, and give yourself 2 count pauses between thoughts. Let me write that down. 2 count pauses between thoughts. Also remember, people don't care. They aren't paying attention, and they don't remember. Just shoot a phrase from the hip, i.e., without thinking anything of it. Once you get launched, you will often barrel right through the first syllables without even thinking about any of them. And once talking, the words will often just flow as they do for non stutterers, and as they do for you in your sporadic fluent bursts. It works. That is, you dodge the stutter, and no one will know the difference except you. When I was Skyping with a Brazilian lady, we did a drill. I read a short paragraph, but I spontaneously changed a third or so of the words in every sentence. Then I asked her to do the same thing. She did it brilliantly. No stutters, no sweat. Later in that Skype, she talked stutter free while applying various crutches without telling me. When then she asked me if I had noticed her crutches. I said, "What crutches?" I hadn't noticed a one. We both laughed. She is using the crutches and she won. She, Soria, is in the SAA Speech Hall of Fame. After the crutches beat enough of Satan's feared next words, Satan gives up. The mind eventually forgets to stutter. I buried Satan 6 feet under eons ago. Let me write this down. So I read a short paragraph, but I spontaneously change a third or so of the words in every sentence. Down. Do practice. I read a short paragraph, but I spontaneously change a third or so of the words in every sentence. Alright, cool. Let me just check my phone just for 1 second. I think our message. Let me pause this, bro. I'm trying to make a friend. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, cool. These victories may not seem like much to a non-stutterer, but to one who stutters on 10 to 90% or more of his words constantly, or facilitates from zero to full blockage situationally, these little victories are huge. Adding crutch 4, I was on a roll in more ways than one. My fluency meter was steadily climbing, while my atrophying stutter memory meter was in freefall. I was killing Lucifer Lockjaw. To outmaneuver sadistic stuttering, it took creative thinking, practice, and determination, and making a game of it. The you versus you game, that is the real and great sport of life, as discussed in section 14. But I had stopped the worsening trend. My stuttering was no longer growing worse by the day. It was actually and steadily decreasing. It had become the number one goal and game in my life. It had to be. My career and sanity and maybe life depended upon it. I simply couldn't live thinking about stuttering every minute, every day, forever. But then, botching my speech here and there, I just couldn't keep doing that. I wouldn't. However much work and planning it took to beat it, I was willing to do, and I did it. So I added inserting alternate thoughts to my skipping first letters and syllables, synonyms, and skipping the word entirely, crutches. My stutter fear memory meter was falling, falling, falling. My fluency memory meter was rising, rising, rising.